Hello there, I'm Akaze, the Project Maestro. You know, they say that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse what is inevitable. But let me also rephrase. Say when the purpose or goals of your project is not known, failure what is inevitable. And what do I mean? Over the years, I've had people who have approached me or sent messages to me or made inquiries from me about proposed projects. They bring fantastic designs, fantastic 3D images of fantastic designs that the architects have done. And they want to find out what this project will cost. And they say, okay, the project is in XYZ location and things like that. I say, okay, fine. But you know, after discussing with them and after looking at the designs that they have brought vis-a-vis the locations of those projects, I have discovered something that is peculiar. And what is that? I've discovered that the projects that they want to execute are not commercially viable. It's not that they're not executable. Of course, they are buildable. If you have your money, you build whatever you want to build anywhere. But you see, such projects are not what? Commercially viable. I'll give you examples. You know, someone contacted me, Nigerian in diaspora, I think it was in South Africa or so, you know. Apparently they bought a property somewhere in Shimawa. Shimawa is in Ogun State, between just the outskirts of Lagos and between Lagos and Ogun State. That's where Shimawa is. It's not, it's a suburb. I'm trying to find the right word for it. But anyway, he bought a land there and he said he wanted to construct a shopping mall. A shopping mall of the grade of ShopRite, you know, Spar, Walmart, or whatever. Those grade of shopping malls. He said he wanted to build such, that kind of project in that place. And when he said that, he said, I said, I had to respond to him that, look, I'm a coin surveyor. I can answer, say, okay, yes, I'll do the bills of coins for you. And then you pay me and I move on. But look, this project is not commercially viable where you have purchased the land. If it's a good project, but not that place, you will not you will not break even. You will not get a good ROI, that's return on investment, in such a location. Somebody else reached out to me, of course, brought a fantastic design that somebody had done for, him or her. I can't remember if it's a male or female now. He said he has a land in Ikorodu, which is also a town in Lagos State, Nigeria, but one of the suburbs. He said he had a land in Ikorodu, and this design that he brought, fantastic design, the kind of designs you find in Lekki, in Ikoyi areas of Lagos, in, the high bar areas of Lagos, and Abuja and elsewhere. This was the kind of design he brought. And he said he wanted to construct it in Ikorodu. I said, look, your design is nice, but look, you cannot construct this design. You will not make this project is not commercially viable in Ikorodu. Why? Because in Ikorodu, there is a maximum cap at which you can charge rent in Ikorodu because of where it is, and because of its location, and because of the kind of people that because of the level. Let me not say the level of people that is mostly a place for low income earners. Mostly. Yes, some rich people have their country homes or country houses there. But on a major proportion of people there are low income earners. So, and this project he wanted to construct is not for low income earners. So I had to tell him that, look, good, you bought a land, but this project you want to execute there, you're going to spend the same amount of money you're going to spend on this project. You spend it also in Ikoyi, the same amount of money you'll spend here. But I tell you, you won't be able to lease it out because it's going to be too high for the kind of people that live in that locality. That's the reason why I said, that's the reason why I decided to do this video, because we found out that a lot of people buy land in certain places of course, what happened, these real estate people who are into real estate, who sell land, they say, oh, there's a land somewhere, it's so cheap, it's this and that. And they do all their marketing, and then the buyers of the land say, it's cheap. They just buy the land without thinking of, what do I want to build on this land? What kind of project do I want to execute on this land? The aim of this video is to let you know that, look, before you buy any land, you need to do some due diligence. You need to ask yourself some questions that will determine whether you should buy land in a certain location or not. Those questions will determine will tell you if you are good to go to buy land in any location or not. But unfortunately, these people that I have mentioned, they bought land, and later on they said, oh, this is what I want to build on the land. But hey, it's not commercially viable. It's not commercially viable. So there are some questions. What are those questions? Let's go into those questions that you need to ask to determine if a land is actually right for the kind of project you want to execute or not. Let's go into those questions. So number one question is, what kind of property do I want to build? What kind of property do you want to build? For example, that man from South Africa, he wanted to build a shopping mall. So if you want to build a shopping mall, you can't just buy land anywhere. There are some places, and even as far as, even pertaining to planning regulations, planning regulations by the government authorities, there are some kind of properties that you cannot erect or execute in some areas. Some areas have been dedicated for residential, some areas have been dedicated for commercial, some areas have been dedicated for industrial development. So you can't just say, I want to buy land somewhere, and this is what you need to ask yourself, what kind of project do I want to, and what kind of building do I want to erect on this land? That will determine where you should buy land, or where you will buy the land. That will determine. The next one is, what level of rental or sales income do I want my property to generate? Do you want to lease that property at the end of the day, or do you want to sell it? What kind of rental income? Like I told the man who bought a land in Ikorodu, I said, look, the kind of building you want to build a kind of a kind of structure that you find in Ikoyi, in Lekki, in Ikeja GRA and things like that. You will not be able to, the kind of rental income you want to generate from this property, you won't be able to generate it in Ikorodu. In fact, you will not find people who will rent it out, who will lease that property from you, because they don't live in those areas. They don't live in those areas. People, medium and high class, high income earners, they only have maybe their country homes there. They don't live there. So you need to ask yourself, what kind of rental or sales income, what kind of rental or sales do I want to generate, from this property? There are some, if you want to sell, there's a cap, or there's a maximum you can sell a property in different locations. Even in Lekki, or Ikoyi, or those high-bar areas of Lagos and in Nigeria, there is a certain cap in which you can sell a property. But the third one is, what are the going rental or sales rates in the area where the land is located? Just like I told the man who wanted to do a shopping mall. Yes, you want to lease out the shopping mall, but of course, for example, in Nigeria, if you build a shopping mall that is top grade, you want ShopRite to come there. You want the Spars of this world to come there. You want them to be the off-taker, the first tenants, there before other businesses come. But would ShopRite want to have an outlet in Shimawa? The people in Shimawa, will they be able to buy the volume of goods, that ShopRite, that will make ShopRite be in business? So those are the things. Those are the things. What are the going rental or sales rate in that area? You need to determine. You need to find out before you decide whether you should buy land in that place or not. Now, what cadre of people, like I said, what cadre of people, organizations are the target market of your property? Are you targeting low, middle, or high class income or high income earners? What cadre of people does your property target? If you are building a luxury apartment, for example, of course, when you say luxury apartment, you are targeting the medium or high income earners. There are some places they live. There are some places they don't live. You can't find them there. And there's no amount of marketing that will make them come there. So that will determine, you know, so there are some areas if you want to build a luxury apartment. I mean, I've done a number of luxury apartment projects. There are some areas you can't execute them. You can't execute them in the suburbs. You execute them in the highbrow areas because of the kind of people that live in those areas. And so the same with any other, I mean, for even if you want to build a school, for example, even a school. I mean, there are schools and there are schools. There are schools of different grades. There are some schools that, I mean, the way you built it is for the high income earners. There are some schools, the way you build it is for the low income earners. So, of course, you can build that. In fact, there are some schools, if you want to build a school for a low income earner, if you go to the high bar area and build such a school and do some low income, facilities there, I tell you, you will struggle to find students. Why? Because most of the people living there, what do? They are what? Most of the people who live in that place, they are high income earners. They will not take their children to those kind of schools. So this is just the thing. So the last question you should ask though, is my target market located around the location of the land? Is my target market? Like I said, the shopping mall that somebody wanted to build in what's the name? In Shimawa. Can Spar or ShopRite are their target market there? Most likely not. Some people that will pay the kind of rent that you are going to, I mean, that you will charge for a world-class shopping mall, they will not come to Shimawa to set up their business because their target market is not there. And of course, that will also rub off on you who has built the shopping mall. So you find out that you build a shopping mall. If that man went ahead to build that shopping mall, maybe through some other consultant or something like that, guess what? He'll build that shopping mall. It will be there. It will be worth away because, you will not get people off takers. You will not get people to come and take up the place. That's what will happen. So those are the questions you need to ask before making a decision on whether to buy a property in a certain location or the other. Now let me go into what are the results of buying land without understanding the goals, or purposes for the proposed project. If you decide to buy land before understanding what the goals and what the purpose of that project, of their project, are, what are the results? Of course, there are negative results. Number one, the land is unusable for your objectives, for your objectives. Just like I said, the man who wanted to build a shopping mall, he has bought the land, but most likely he's not going to build, if he builds a shopping mall, it's going to be a waste of money. That's just the fact of the matter. If he says, okay, let me build a low level, I mean, fine. I bet maybe he will build a low level, a block of flats for low level people, because those are the kind of people that live within that area, low income people. So the land is unusable for your objectives. If you decide to buy land before understanding the purpose for the purpose of the project you want to execute on that land. Of course, another downside is reduced ROI, reduced return on investment. Of course, what happens when people build a project that was not well located in a wrong location? Of course, maybe they have built the project, they completed the project, they can't find tenants, or they can't find buyers. What happens? They begin to lease it out at when they have to pay back their interest on their loans, they begin to lease it out at a lower price. They just, okay, let's just get people to get in there. Let's just sell it. So what happens? They have reduced ROI, or sometimes they even go into debt. Another one is slow sales and leasing. Cause slow sales, because when you don't have the right people around you, the right target people, you are going to have slow sales, slow leasing. Also it takes long to break even. Of course, you know that it takes long to break even, because you don't have the right people who will get, or who will lease that project. You don't have the right people. Of course, another one is waste of resources. Because resources are wasted. A lot of times when the project is completed, nobody is leasing or buying it. I mean, your resources are wasted. You're wasted. And also, lastly, what you have extensive delays, what in loan repayment. Extensive what delays what in loan repayment. If you've taken a loan to undertake that project, you are going to incur a lot of interest because you will not be able to get money from either tenants or buyers to offset your loans. And so it's going to take a long time to repay your loans, repay your loans. So before you buy your next landed property, I want to encourage you, you need to be clear on what your project goals are, what your project objectives are. And you need to ask yourself these questions. You need to ask yourself these questions. Now, do you know that there are some kind of lands that can increase your now we are talking about land. Do you know that there are some kind of lands that can increase your construction cost astronomically? Incidentally, I've done a video about that, about that topic. And I'm going to link it up here, somewhere here. Kindly watch that video. I've also I've also written an ebook. I have an ebook which I've written extensively about that topic. So, and the good part is it's free. It's free. So if you're interested, there's a link somewhere around here, maybe in the description or in the pinned comments or in my profile, depending on where you're watching this video. Please click the link, and you'll get it and remember it's free of charge. So I want to encourage you, get the ebook and then watch the video, and I believe you will learn quite a lot about land. So I want to encourage you, ensure you do due diligence before you buy your next before you buy land for your next project. So till my next video, I wish you success in your projects. Stay blessed.